This short rib braise is built almost entirely on green peppers, not as a garnish, but as the sauce. The peppers collapse into the beef fat and soy sauce as the ribs cook. Then, right at the end, we bring back freshness with jalapeno, garlic, and more soy. A supermarket-friendly rice killer. Let's start with the ribs. Medium heat with a thin layer of high smoke point neutral oil. Beef goes into sear. We first want to rapidly evaporate the surface moisture. The drier the surface, the faster this becomes. So if time permits, pat them dry with kitchen towels, or even better, leave them in the fridge uncovered the night before. Once we go past boiling point, we start to develop complex, meaty, roasted flavors via the Maillard reaction, rendering fat and building fond in the process. Once everything is beautifully golden, they come out temporarily. We skim and reserve most of the rendered fat, leaving just a thin layer, knowing there's more to come. We now have the option to bloom some spices. My top 2 recommendations for you. 1. Coriander seeds, the backbone of many Indian-style curries. This will bring a lot of citrusy brightness to balance the richness of the beef fat. 2. Sichuan peppercorn, known for the famous numbing sensation that will fade completely with the long cooking time, but a different kind of citrusy, floral brightness and a bit of earthy note that will complement the green bell pepper later. We gently bloom them in oil, as most characteristics I just mentioned are fat soluble. Now, the fun part. Here, we have almost a kilo of thinly sliced green bell pepper. We're going to turn this into our braising liquid and later our sauce. Here, we have an ordinary pan, green bell peppers in. We mix briefly, just for the fat to coat and prevent burning. Ordinary lid on, 10 minutes. Now, look at that. We have our braising liquid. So what happened? Green bell pepper is around 94% water. So for 800 grams of pepper, we've effectively added a wine bottle worth of water to our pot. Not all have been released. You can smell the sharp, grassy, raw green pepper scent. But that's very heat sensitive and will fade with long cooking. What we'll end up with is the natural sweetness of the pepper and some complex, earthy depth. Think gumbo. Now, we season first with a small dash of vinegar, just to balance the whole dish from the beginning and to allow time to cook off the raw edge. And light soy sauce, which brings salinity, umami, and fermented depth. It works extremely well with green bell pepper, and it's a very common combination in Chinese cooking. We're going to season the whole dish with just soy sauce at around 1% salt in relation to the weight of the ribs. If you want to dive a bit deeper on how we calculate salt percentage, you can watch it here. We're going to first add about 2/3 of this, saving the rest for our flavor bomb later. Ribs back in. It was perfect, I just had to buy one extra one. Maybe this way. Did it. Resting juices back in. Lid back on. Because the natural sugar from the green bell and the soy sauce both can burn quite easily. For the best result, we braise it in the oven at 150. if you want to do it on the stovetop, make sure you mix it every half an hour and top up with water if need be. And in general, just because I clickbaited you into the waterless method, there's no shame in checking and adding water to prevent the pot from burning. 2.5 to 3 hours. We got the complexity, the sweetness, the cooking liquid, the volume. What have we lost? The pepper aroma. Let's bring it back. Here we have some jalapeños, a smaller, more pungent and spicier green pepper. We're going to slice them thin. And infuse them with the soy sauce we saved. It is worth noting that soy sauce and jalapeno have a love-hate relationship. Anything between 1 to 3 hours, the soy sauce becomes sweet and complex with mild heat, and the jalapeno becomes perfectly pickled. Anything more than 4 hours, you get a bowl of wet grass. I once wasted a whole jar doing it. But the timing of the oven is perfect for this. Optional, but probably the cherry on top, we add some thinly sliced garlic to the mix to bring a ton of savory depth and a bit of pungency to cut through the richness of the beef. Perfect. Now, look at that. Check for doneness. Oh, perfect. Now, you can reduce or dilute as you see fit. Not a drop of water added to the pot today. But again, don't be a hero. Adjust. We can now reduce to our own liking. Look at the viscosity. Bit of heat. And the option to skim off a bit of the excess yummy beef fat as you see fit. Perfect. Now, the infused soy sauce. Depending on your spice tolerance, you have the option to add just the soy sauce because the spiciness from the jalapeno is mostly fat soluble. So the soy sauce itself is not that spicy, but it will complete the 1% salt and bring an extra layer of freshness to our dish. We give it a couple of minutes for the flavors to meld and for the heat to slightly cook off the raw edge. We want freshness, but not salad-like freshness. Now, you can save the pickled garlic and jalapenos as garnish, or if you want the kick to be a bit more integrated, you can add them for the last minute of cooking. Today, we go half and half. A bit more than half and half. And the rendered beef fat will now really take on the spicy kick. Taste and adjust the seasoning. Oh, perfect. Now we can plate. Today, we use green bell pepper to demonstrate how you can use natural moisture to your advantage. But the principles apply to all sorts of vegetables. I hope you give it a try.